The two questions that I get asked most on my video have nothing to do with backpacking, knives, guns, or anything of that nature. But actually, what kind of camera do you use and what editing software do you use? Then we'll talk about some additions that I feel are necessary for my channel. They may or may not be for you. And then we'll go into some nice to haves. Overall, what I'll do is I'll show you all of my equipment and where I film and how I film, and maybe some philosophy mixed in with that. The camera that I use is a JVC Evrio GZHM50. That's this guy right here. This is an HD camera. It is a very entry level camera, and I think it runs about 200 to 250 at least right now. When I bought it, it's a little bit more expensive, but it's come down because it's a little bit older. I really like the camera. This is my second one, actually. The first one broke after some really hard use. I'm hard on cameras, guys. Anyway, the battery it comes with is this guy right here. And for my usage, it sucks. I still use it. It just does not have a lot of energy to run the camera for a very long time. So what I ended up doing was buying two backups. This was actually for the first camera. The reason I bought a JVC the second time was, yeah, I was happy with the first JVC camera I had, but I also had these batteries, so I wanted just to continue on so I could use these and minimize the cost down the road. So I bought the two big packs because when I'm out for days doing the backpacking trips, this will not cut it. If you're home just filming at the house, you could probably get away with this, not a big deal. But for what I do, I need the extra capacity. The camera, I would say, is adequate. Again, it's a great entry level. It has its strengths and weaknesses. Basically, it's an entry level HD camera and you get what you pay for. Still shots or slow panning is great quality with this. If I pan fast with this or any type of action, you can see it on my channel, it gets a little bit pixelated, a little bit blurry. So not very good for that, but you can manage. Now, another thing with this is the internal memory. It has internal memory and it has an extra spot for an SD card. The internal memory is flash memory, and I didn't go with the hard drive memory because there's just too many moving parts in a hard drive. And again, I'm really hard on cameras, all the hiking, the jumping, all that kind of stuff, that I went with the flash drive so it could be a little more robust. So let's get to the next camera. For some of the reasons I just mentioned, I wanted to get another camera that was, one, waterproof, could hold up to the action shots, that kind of a thing. So naturally I went with the GoPro. This is the Hero 2, so not the Hero 3, but this has been an excellent camera. Again, I have kind of a predefined statement for this when people ask, but with this one, action shots with this is awesome, as you would expect. That's what it's built for. The audio certainly is not the best, as the camera is in its protective case. So when I just filmed the camera you're looking through now, I filmed it with the GoPro, but I took it out of the waterproof housing so you could get a little better audio with it. But there are things that people can do about modding the cases and stuff to increase the audio while it's in the case. I haven't got around to any of those things. I won't go too much into that. To me, this is not a main camera option or an only camera option. This is certainly a supplement to something else, and I've loved using it that way. I would highly recommend this, or I mean something that gives you those action shots. Again, depending on what you're filming for, you may or may not need something like this. Now let's move on to the editing software. This is Vegas Movie Studio HD Platinum 10.0. I'm not sure what version they're on now. I've had this for quite a while and it works great for my needs. I've also used Adobe Premiere 3.0. Again, that's a little bit older. They've since upgraded. And I liked Adobe quite a bit, but Vegas I like better. To read the predetermined comment that I just copy and paste when I get this question, because I get it so much, is what? I highly recommend Vegas, although there is a learning curve to begin with. After that curve, I find it to be a very enjoyable program. A caveat I have found when working with full HD is the preview screen. So this guy right here, when I use that, sometimes it lags, and I haven't found a solution to that. But I don't know that that's necessarily the program. It's probably more my computer and its ability to keep up with that high resolution video. So I really like this. Just to show you around real quick of what it is. Here's your preview screen right here. You can see this is a very recent backpacking trip I went on with my son. Here's all the video clips that you're using. You take these, you drag them down, and then this is where all the magic happens down in this area. So this is where you put your music. This is where you cut and edit the scenes, any special effects such as a green screen. We'll talk about that later. Anything like that will go on in here. There's a lot of editing software out there, and a lot of it's good stuff. This is just what I know, and so I'm just going to stick with it, because now I can edit like that. Great stuff. A lot of other stuff out there too, so I would definitely keep your options open. Now moving on to accessories that I feel are necessary, at least for me in my recording, what I have found. I've already mentioned it earlier, so I won't belabor it, but is extra battery packs for my camera, because I'm out in the backcountry for a long periods of time. But tripods are essential for me. And this is a tripod I bought a long time ago, and it's Targus 58-inch camera. It was 30 bucks when I bought it. I don't know if it has a name on it or not, but I would definitely highly recommend this tripod. And you might be wondering why, because it's all taped together and beat up. Well, this thing has been shot. It actually caught a ricochet and took a bullet to one of the legs, and it still works. This part right here is actually more my fault, because what I did was I carved away this area right here. It's a mod you can do, and it helps you get a certain style of filming that I was going for. And eventually what happened is it just broke off all the way. So again, that was my fault. But I have used this thing for, when I'm out hiking, I'll actually use it sometimes to help as a walking stick. This thing is just extremely robust. I'm to the point now where I've moved on to a new one. Obviously this one didn't come in camo. This was more of a, you can see the color underneath, silver. This one is black, and you can see the difference in these. This has a lot more accessories on it, like this handle. It's got a bubble here, it's got one here, I've already taken it out. And it's got these stabilizers, a hook on the end that this does not have. But this is a brand new tripod I just picked up. I will be ripping all of those things off. For me and the hiking, the weight is important, so I just trash everything that I don't need on these. And that's what I did to this one. So one more addition that I feel is extremely necessary is this camera that you're viewing through now has an extra port, and I bought it specifically with that, because you can buy it with or without that option, to put an SD card in for extra memory. I don't always need it, but I do need it sometimes, especially more on the backpacking trips, and that is very beneficial to have, and for me necessary. Now let's go to the nice to haves. These are certainly things you don't need, but they are, like I said, nice to have, and that is lighting. Now the lighting that I've purchased and the lighting that I'm using are one of two things. Existing lighting that I've already had laying around the house, I try to really reuse stuff instead of going out and buying new things. Or the new lighting, which you're looking at right here, I specifically bought shop lights, because let's be honest, I'm not going to be doing this YouTube thing forever. So when I'm done, I'd like to have some equipment that is going to be useful in other means. And that's why I purchased the shop light you're looking at on the floor. And then also, this is the studio. It's kind of a mess right now. I've been really busy. This guy right here. So I've tried to set up a 3-point lighting system. 1, 2, and this one 3 in the back. Again, this is something that I've had laying around for years, and that I've had laying around for years. You can see this is really budget, guys. It's been cheap, and everything that I've bought with my YouTube money, and quite honestly, I don't make a lot of money on the channel. So I have to be cautious with what I buy and how I spend that money. This guy on the floor going next to the nice to haves, and this is certainly something not needed, but is the green screen right here. And the green screen, it's kind of a challenge because it's very light sensitive, and you can see it in some of the videos where I'm playing around and trying to figure it out. I've got it pretty much dialed in now, but it's not perfect, but You know, it's getting there. But you can see, maybe, at least I can see through the lens, it's creating this hot spot right here, the light. And sometimes when that's lighter and that's darker on the corners, that can create havoc in trying to use the green screen aspect in the video editing software. So I got this guy down here at the bottom to help try and even out the color, the light on that green screen. Now also, if I don't have this in front of it, this light gets too hot on the green screen. And so this is just to kind of create a diffuser on that light. And again, all this is stuff I had laying around. I had some extra piping, and this stuff, I don't even know what it is. I just asked my wife if she had something. She said yeah. And as corny as that looks, that's the same thing. In fact, that's just the innards of 550 paracord and some clips, and that's to help kind of diffuse the light a little bit too. Again, guys, it's funny because I will see other people's YouTube channels and I'll see the cameras they use, I'll see the lighting they use. Man, they've got some really nice stuff. And I just laugh at the comparison between what they have and what I have. Mine is so budget. But it works. It works. And hopefully it's encouraging to you guys just getting into it that you can build it up slowly, and you can do so at a very budget conscientious point, and while maybe utilizing some things that you already have laying around the house. One thing I would love to do, now moving on to more of just kind of some philosophy or thought that I have about this whole filming process, I really want a SLR camera to do the filming. But the challenge in that is, one, price, and two, if I ruin the camera, price again. But three, those are a lot more bulky than the camera you're looking through right now. And so going backpacking with it is much more difficult and requires much more management. But I hope you guys, this was helpful for you guys. If there's something more you want me to flesh out, because I just try to go over these things in a very high level discussion. If there's something you want to see more specific, go ahead and ask in the comments. Go to my Facebook and ask, or perhaps I can make a video that's more specific to some of the items. Anyway, thanks much, guys. You can also see this in my backpacking room. I appreciate it much. We'll see you later.